Beyond.
Beyond.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 85 of Podcast Beyond.
Ocho Cinco.
We apologize, first off, for not having a show last week. Last week was GDC. We have some... the GDC diary, I guess, will be part of this show. Basically, it's not super long, so we didn't want to make a whole show out of it. So we're going to include in this one. We're going to talk about the show as it was, and we will get on like nothing didn't happen last week. I suppose the thing is, how's everybody doing this week?
Good. I made a lasso out of the Ethernet cord.
Whee!
Oh, now it's around Clemence's neck. And now I'm choking with it.
Wait, take a picture of that. Take a picture of that.
Well, I'll get on that.
I'm on it, you guys.
But
Holy crap.
Ryan is choking.
Hold on.
This is very good stuff.
Right. This is insane.
What did...
It's good.
Actually, it should be 85.
Okay,
whatever. Whatever.
Go speak French somewhere else.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What I love is that it actually functioned properly.
It worked well.
I did not expect it to actually tighten around my neck.
Yeah. Let's get right into the show with the Roper Report.
Time for some news.
So, somewhat surprisingly, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about this week, even though GDC was last week. But I don't know. Let's get into it. One thing is that as of late last night / this morning, firmware 2.70 is out. It adds such things as a reordering of people on your friends list, and now people that are requesting you are at the top instead of the bottom.
Yeah.
And you can do a text chat like IRC kind of with 16 people in a room, and I think you can have 3 rooms open at once. So anyway, there's not much exciting about that. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 is gold.
Yay!
So that game
Ryan, aren't you excited?
Going to be released.
Yes.
Oh, you don't have the headset on?
No.
I stole it.
Phantom's on.
Yeah, Sam has the thing.
The Bishop stole it.
Yep.
Jack and Daxter: The Lost Frontier is coming.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Greg, we got a question about that one later. We'll get back to that.
Okay.
Sony has trademarked PS Cloud, PlayStation Cloud.
Uh-oh.
Take that. What does it play on video?
On live. Cloud.
So,
Clouding.
presumably, Sony is in the game of at least looking into cloud computing, cloud gaming, as it were. We also have a question about that, so we'll come back to that in a little bit. And the last bit of news that I'll mention this week is that after, I think, 3 years of no movement on the price, the PS2 is now $99.
Finally.
It actually doesn't matter one damn bit to anybody listening to this, because if anybody's listening to this podcast, clearly you're a gamer, and if you don't have a PS2 yet, you're not going to buy one.
Maybe it's like that South Park where the dude fell into a coma and woke up. Maybe this guy right now listening fell into a coma in 1999 and just woke up.
I suppose that's humanly possible, but unlikely.
And you can be like, well,
We'll see.
I buy a PS3, and you're like, well, I've missed so much, and they're not even backwards compatible.
Yeah,
why try to do that?
I can't believe this didn't happen a long time ago, but finally it's there, and meh.
Can you believe that your prediction was completely wrong?
I know that. We'll come back to that in a little bit when we get to the GDC part of the portion. Yeah. But the fact that Sony did not drop the price is ludicrous.
PS3
in my opinion.
selling so well. There's no sense worrying about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so Greg, the PS2 came down in price, so more people, presumably, maybe a couple more, will be buying the system. But they're going to need to know what games are out in stores to buy.
They sure do. Luckily, I have the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors.
I'm holding this like a mic.
Kapow! Big, huge week. Nothing on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. PlayStation 3 gets Guitar Hero Metallica and Comet Crash today on the PSN.
Yay!
Yay! Boo-doo-doo-doo. That's it.
There's not a whole lot.
Week sauce week.
Jeff, do we have anything from Zombie Blognag about what's going on in the store?
Not really, no. Outside of Comet Crash and Core.
Core, with a Q.
With a Q.
Is there anything indecent in Core?
Veronica Belmont is going to
It's free.
It's free?
It's free this week. They have features on Fat Princess, Greg's favorite.
Yes, it's a very good game.
Infamous.
Very good game.
Red Faction Guerrilla.
Is that a very good game, Jeff? You've played it?
It's fun.
Okay.
Chopping down buildings.
Like the only other thing,
I guess I played multiplayer. That was fun.
Yeah, the only other thing that kind of stood out with the 2.7 firmware update is the fact that you can save video that you've purchased from the video store.
Oh yeah,
to hard drives, so you can free up your space.
So there you go. So there's not really a whole lot. Looking at this list here.
Well, you like Guitar Hero Metallica.
Yeah, Guitar Hero. There you go. Guitar Hero Metallica is clearly pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Hey, Jeff, you've played Jeff. And I look right at Sam.
I'm the new Jeff.
Hey, Sam, you played a lot of Comet Crash, have you?
Yeah, a ton, actually.
How is it? Is it good?
It's very good. Yeah, it's a totally different kind of tower defense game. So you actually get to attack the other towers,
Nice.
which is fun. And you build
Bring the
mazes.
fight to him, they'd say.
Exactly. And you can reroute all the enemies. You basically get like a big open area in the middle, and then with your towers, you can build a maze. So you can route the enemies through, on a big winding path and whittle them down as you go. It's definitely different from everything else out there. The review's going up. Well, not today, then tomorrow.
Oh, come on, get your ass
I know,
Sam.
and it's going to get a good review. So it is a good game. I would recommend it.
All right.
So there you go. There's pick of the week. What's coming out in the thing?
Pick of the
Does anybody have any good trophy tips this week? Greg, you are appropriately wearing a You Have Earned a Trophy attended GDC Blog Lounge
I did.
t-shirt.
I am, and I got it in the trophies, and it's a life trophy. I'd like to think I'm at least 1 to 5% done with my trophies for life, getting to the platinum. Still need to do things.
That
Kind of
helps.
variety. I didn't think this one out before I
No,
launched
you
it.
didn't. It kind
I
of
was going to
fell
say,
flat.
own a convertible, but I've already done that.
Starting strong.
No,
I guess own a
obviously
convertible where I could roll down the driver's side window.
Greg, obviously, wouldn't one of the life trophies be become a Ghostbuster?
Yes.
I mean, come on. How did that not stand out in your
that's
mind,
for
man?
me
What's going on?
personally. It's not my personal.
Also,
yeah.
When you play Infamous, that's going to give you a gold medal right there in your life trophies.
Yeah, probably. Well, hopefully, if they don't screw that up. If they screw up, I'll cry myself to sleep.
You will be very, very upset.
Trophy tips. I had something.
I got nothing
leading
this week
into
for trophies.
Well,
Nothing good.
apart from like Unreal updating to 2.0 and adding trophies,
There
so
you
now
go.
you can pretty much play through the entire storyline and get trophies, and then basically a lot of what you do throughout the game, especially if you have the Titan pack, will wind up earning you trophies. So like getting berserk damage or the berserk power up or other elements for a certain amount of time will actually give you trophies as well. So a lot of what you basically would do playing Unreal Tournament 3,
You're going to get rewarded now.
You're going to get rewarded for it. So it's a really easy way to collect trophies.
On that same note, if you can stomach Monsters vs. Aliens, you get a ton of stuff.
Did you say I only need to play for an hour and I get like 10 bronzes?
Maybe even like a half an hour, 45
thinking about
minutes.
doing
It's all
that today, Rob.
bronzes.
I'm
so
gonna do that for lunch,
yeah,
though.
you gotta work your butt off to get like the actual decent stuff. It's almost all bronze.
But in the beginning, it's like
Bling
shoot an alien.
on constantly.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna do that today.
Yep.
yeah, there's that.
So there you go.
Want to get your trophy count up?
That's what we got. So let's get on with topic of the week. So, like I said, last week was GDC. We were all there.
Topic of the week.
So we did, Greg, you manned this as you did last year, record a GDC diary of sorts, and it was only about 10 or 15 minutes, but we will include that now. Then we're going to come back and give our thoughts on what we saw at the show. So here's what happened at the show. Cue thing.
Beyonda! What's up, everyone? Yes, it's Greg Miller. This is not the normal episode of Podcast Beyond, as you've probably told. This is, of course, Podcast Beyond, Greg's GDC Diary 2009. I'm driving into the city known as San Francisco to see, Game Developers Conference and all that jazz. Today it is, the PlayStation team tackling the Sony Bloggers Lounge, where they'll have a number of games. So I will be able to talk to a number of developers, and you'll be along for the ride, and yada, yada, yada. In case you didn't listen to this last year, basically this is me talking into a recorder, which is actually my iPhone now. I'll suggest you get iTalk and an iPhone. And a job where you play video games for a living. Anyways, I'll talk into this thing, and we'll do a podcast guerrilla style from the GDC show. Everything we'll talk about we'll be very excited about, but it'll be old news to you probably because you've already read the reports. However, we'll talk to some developers, hopefully, some normal people, other junk, It'll be a show, man. It's going to be a scene. I hope Ryan Clements is there. Beyond! I couldn't turn it off because my screensaver went on. Jeez, this is going to be rough. All right, it's Ryan's second GDC. We're starting where we left off last year, or I guess where we started last year. Ryan, what are you about to eat here at the Sony PlayStation Bloggers Lounge?
Well, I'm about to eat a very delicious-looking bagel. I believe it's an everything bagel, covering an assortment of seeds such as poppy seed and sesame seed.
Now, see, you've gone the interesting route there because, of course, an everything bagel includes garlic. You're going to have garlic breath now, and you're going to have to talk to people. How are you going to handle that?
I'm going to handle that by countering it with a delicious glass of all-natural orange juice, which is sitting for me at my table.
And we'll see if that works out. Hey, Ryan, for 1 second, let's talk about games. What do you think of the Bloggers Lounge here so far?
Well, it's the same stylish setup as it was last year, with a very dark mood lighting mixed with the glow of fluorescent screens, and I don't know, it's looking pretty good. I know that you're excited about Fat Princess is here, right?
I am. We've all my favorite games of all time are here, probably. I hear they're going to have Superman Death and Return on Sega Genesis, Metal Gear Solid on PS1. No, that's not true. But yeah, no, they have Fat Princess, Patapon 2, Pixel Junk Eden Encore, Ragdoll Kung Fu.
I hear they also have an actual virtual reality Ghostbusters experience where you strap on an actual proton pack.
That'd be pretty cool. Even cooler, Ryan, we finally have Patapon swag. Thoughts?
It's pretty awesome, actually. Rubenstein gave us the prototype line, apparently. I don't know if I could even say that, but
I already took photos. I'm blogging here in a second, so it doesn't matter.
All right, sounds good. But yes, it's a little plushie and a cool little. I didn't know, is it a figurine?
It says figurine, but it's got like a fob on it for like either keychain or to hook through your PSP.
Ooh, PSP swag.
Yeah, very interesting.
I hear that system's dead.
Oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. Now here we go again. I told everybody about this. See, I like the iPhone, and this is amazing that I can record on it. However, it screen saves while I'm recording. Then I can't get out. I can't do quick outs anymore. So I got to turn off my screensaver.
Okay.
Beyond. Hey, Jeffrey Rubenstein, PlayStation Blog Guru. You're back on Podcast Beyond. How's that feel?
It feels fantastic. After the last time, I've never been more popular with women. I've never felt stronger or better looking.
Yeah. Okay. First off, what's going on here? What are we doing?
Oh, we're showing off a lot of our PSN games today here in the PlayStation Blog Lounge, and throughout the GDC from Tuesday through Thursday, we're going to keep adding games, starting with Infamous this afternoon, and we're going to have some surprises we'll be rolling out tomorrow.
Biggest surprise of the day so far, your shirt. Tell me all about it.
Well, it is. I'm a trophy whore. I wear it loud, I wear it proud, and now I can wear it literally and not just figuratively. And the shirt says, "You have earned a trophy. Attended GDC Blog Lounge." It has the same design as the when
a trophy. Now I get it. It all just clicked in my head, as if I was playing on the PS3.
Yeah.
Very clever.
It's just like that.
Patapon 2 swag, you gave it to us. We finally have some Patapon plushies. How does it make you feel good?
Oh, yeah, you needed it.
You're finally making our dreams come true.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the next Christmas tree I want a photograph of, at the very top, your Patapon.
Okay, sounds good. I can do that. Real quick before I let you go, what's your favorite game right now in the lounge?
Favorite game in the lounge right now is Patapon 2.
Ooh, good pick. We'll play some multiplayer here in a second.
Absolutely.
Beyond! Chris Roper, you're playing Pixel Junk Eden Encore. How is it?
It's all right. It's actually kind of hard. I haven't played the original game in a while, so I'm very rusty.
That'll happen. I just got done playing Fat Princess, which I broke twice, apparently.
Very good.
First time, I froze it, and then I had to restart the system. And then when I went in after looking through all the options and stuff, I tried to join the other games that are happening in the room, and now my guy is all alone in a little world. He's all by himself.
That's very sad.
So what's different about Pixel Junk Encore?
It's from what I've seen. Nobody's told me about this yet, but from what I've seen, it just seems like more levels that are added on. You sort of have a separate garden that kind of adds to where you are, and then you can go around and like one level I was in, there were like little gravity cells, and when you touch one, it kind of slows down. You can you have a little bit to kind of go wherever you want, so you can go up or left or right or whatever.
I see.
Yeah, it's just more of a challenge. It seems like. So that's kind of cool. I mean, if you like the first game, it's basically more puzzle type stuff. So.
What if you're Greg Miller and you found the first game too challenging?
You will probably be in trouble because these are not
God
easy.
Damn it!
Yeah. So.
All right, we'll be back with more. All right, Ryan, now we're down to the business of GDC. We are both working hard here on stories and whatnot. What are you working on?
I'm working on a little write-up for Ragdoll Kung Fu, a progress report for the game, because both Jeff and Levi have seen it in the past, but not as of late.
What did you think of it?
I actually really like it so far, although I've only just scratched the surface, but after playing a few challenges and tutorials, it seems like a really cool fighting game / action game, kind of like Smash Brothers, I guess you could say, except more Kung Fu related.
Would you call it a Smash Brothers killer?
I would not, only because it's a downloadable game, and I think it's more intended on us.
Oh, so downloadable games can't be awesome, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Oh, I think you need to look at Fat Princess. That's the story I'm publishing right now. Slowly but surely, where I go see some other stuff. I'm not sure if what I'm seeing is embargoed, so I'm not going to say anything, but here's Ryan again.
I also just want to point out that at some point in the future, we're going to have to do another Clements Eats segment, because they put out lunch a little while ago, and I need to hit that up.
Sounds good. We'll be back with that Beyond!
Beyond, quick, don't let it, the screensaver go. Oh, God.
Beyond! What's up, everybody? It's Greg again with the people here who bring you Fat Princess Titan Studios, Craig, and who should be named Greg, but his real name is Chris. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, we're here demoing the latest build of Fat Princess to IGN, and it's an awesome 32-player tactical team action game for PlayStation Network.
Be coming out soon.
Soon, this summer, so you should definitely check out IGN. We've given an awesome behind-the-scenes sort of sneak peek of exclusive levels and all the sort of goodies that we're working on.
Damn right they did, so go to the video page right now on IGN.com and go check it out. But I know the game looks great. Obviously, you guys know we've been, behind it for a long, long time. Summer's what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, that's right. We're nearly done. We're wrapping things up. So, check it out this summer. You're going to have a lot of fun.
Why are people going to like it?
It's chaos. It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. I mean, it is insane chaos with all your friends, blood everywhere.
It's great to just jump online, throw bombs at people, blow them to tiny bits after they spend all their time customizing themselves.
Yeah, turn them into chickens, do whatever you like. But also, of course, there's a deep strategy game there too, with you and your team. So much strategy to learn, so many new hilarious plans to hatch of ways to get the princess back. Feeding a cake, and using the catapult with bombs.
I love the cake.
Yeah, just go in, and I promise you'll have a blast. We love it, So check it out.
Right.
Now, one final thing before we wrap up here. Don't try to end this, Greg, who should be Chris, or Chris, who should be Greg. When you guys first showed it at E3, a lot of people were very excited about it. However, and I can say this because I'm a fat person. Some fat people were offended by the name Fat Princess. You guys did not change it. I want to tip my hat and thank you for that.
Well, the game's light-hearted fun. It's not social commentary.
It's a good time.
It's all about jumping in with your friends, having a blast. It's cheeky. It's funny. It's what games should be about. We're all here to be entertained and have a great time. So,
All right, sounds good. Go read my preview and watch the videos.
Awesome.
Now you say Beyond.
Beyond.
Beyond. Beyond. Beyond. What's up, everybody? It's still Greg. Hate how I introduce it every time, but it's a force of habit. You start a segment, you want to say who it is, you forget that the last segment was you talking as well. Anyways, GDC Day 1 is in the books. It's about 7:50, almost 8 o'clock. I'm just getting home. Went to a Deep Silver event where I saw a number of games, including Duke Nukem Critical Mass on the PSP. Of course, you'll have already read my impressions by then, but to summarize, incredibly early. I will leave it at that. Fans, that I consider you my friends, like I consider Ryan to be my friend and everyone else in the world. You listen to me, obviously, you know me pretty well. This is kind of like a diary, right? My GDC diary. Anyways, I don't understand why developers want to show games so early. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many schools of thought on this opinion, because you look at Infamous, right? You figure at E3 that one year, they show the trailer and that's it, and it's blackout forever. You know what I mean? How long it took them? I don't want to say anything now because I'm exhausted, but I want to say more like almost 2 years, wasn't it? Or really, maybe just a year. It was a really, really long time before we saw anything on it again, right? And you figure, first time you see it, you're really impressed with it, and then meanwhile, Duke Nukem Critical Mass might be an awesome PSP game, right? But they showed it at a stage they described as between pre-alpha and alpha. And it looked, super, super rough. It's hard to get a real good opinion of a game on that. I'd rather just talk to a person about the game at that point rather than see something where they say, well, this is all a placeholder and this won't work. Anyways, I'm splitting hairs. I'm very tired. Trying to think of the last time we actually spoke. What has happened since then? Nothing. Jeff Haynes was at the Deep Silver event. I should have talked to him, but I forgot to. But, because I was trying to see my games. Get home, because I have a dog at home who's been locked up all by himself all day long. I'm sure he has to go to the bathroom. Former IGN editor Doug Perry was at the Deep Silver event. Oh, they also served Popeye's fried chicken at the event, which was a good idea for, some kind of crazy food, I guess. But beyond that, I think you're caught up on everything I did GDC Day 1. We'll talk to hopefully everybody tomorrow, see what they did. And there you go. That's right, an abrupt ending. I didn't see it coming that I would suddenly... I won't lie to you, listeners. it wasn't the same. I had lightning in a bottle last year, tiger by the tail, Clements in a bag. Like, that's what I had.
Boom,
you know,
nothing.
and then this one I tried to do it and I didn't feel the same. I tried to do some songs on the way to work. It wasn't working as well. But it was a good show. I mean, just didn't come together as far as a GDC diary, if you will.
Yeah.
So now we'll talk about it here.
So the games that Sony had at its launch were Fat Princess, Infamous, the Resistance 2 map stuff,
Ragdoll Kung Fu.
Ragdoll Kung Fu, Pixel Eden Encore,
Jack and Daxter. Only for me.
Patapon 2.
Patapon 2.
Patapon 2.
I think that sounds like it. I played Pixel Eden Encore, which is just basically new maps. The thing doesn't drastically change anything, but it seems kind of cool if you like the game.
Yeah.
Greg, I played a little bit of Fat Princess with you. I played only for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I thought that it was a little more, because that's the first time I actually played it. I'd just seen it before. It was a little more confusing on what you're supposed to be doing and how you become powerful. Like, I would start with the archer or the magician or something, and I'd roll up to you, and you'd have the warrior with the sword and just completely dominate me. And I'm like, what? You know, what's happening? And like, you'd go to the other guys' castles and try to break in. That wasn't really working very well for me. So there definitely is a little bit of a learning curve to figure out how to play the game.
It looks super simple, but there's so much strategy to it. Like, it's going to be when you get that, it's going to be focusing on having teams that have headsets and knowing what you're doing, because it's totally be a thing where you have to say, all right, you know, me, Sam, and Ryan, we're going to go be workers, and we're going to go cut down trees and mine rocks and have the resources, and we'll upgrade all the things. And then when you get, you know, up to level 3 on the archer, so you have a shotgun, and the warrior, so you have the giant freaking staff you can run through everybody, you say, all right, everybody form up on the bridge, and we're going for it. You know what I mean? Like,
If you end up getting that game, for the love of God, please use a headset. It's going to be
us three will stand back, and we'll, you know, guard the princess. You guys make the run. I mean, it's a total, there was many times I would run over there and think I had it. I was like just all by myself, like being all stealthy, like running around the corners of the map, and I'd get into their castle, and I'd get down to the princess, and there was like 7 dudes there, and I was like, well, owned.
So much for that.
If you play that game with bots and you're the only one playing, it's almost a stalemate, just because you can't really do much of anything. So you have to coordinate attacks. You have to sort of play with other people and strategize.
It reminds me a lot of a Warhawk or Calling All Cars, where it's like in Calling All Cars you can play by yourself, but that's going to strictly be practice for trying to figure out how to go online, and obviously Warhawk didn't have that. But I mean, it's totally going to be a team base. Let's figure out how we do this. And it's
very much so.
I like how the options you're going to play through, and you'll be unlocking things for customizing your characters. So the Mr. T Mohawk or the pale white skin and like, you know, voices and stuff like that. That's all awesome. But then the fact that, like, when you're setting up servers, you can reserve friend slots. So it's one of those things where if I say, all right, we're going to do an editor beatdown, I can say I'm going to hold off, you know, this number of slots to make sure that we can get in specific people, not specific people, but friends or whatever.
Yeah.
It looks like they're doing a lot of stuff with the online. Like they're really trying. The server migration is a nice touch. So if the host leaves, it just passes it to the next person.
Yeah.
So
Very good stuff all around. Infamous was also at the show.
It was.
Yeah.
More stuff. Some of it new. Still looks good. Very excited.
Short. You can tell his excitement.
It was short tastes, and I think I mean I guess I'm spoiled because I get to go up there once in a while and play for like 3 hours.
Big jerk.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Sam. But no, I mean, Infamous I still am incredibly excited about, and it will literally break my heart. Like, people think that, you know, if Ghostbusters was bad, I'd cry, but like Ghostbusters. Like, we all know how easy this one's a flip of a coin. How that one's gonna come out, folks. Infamous. If something goes wrong, it will crush me. And I'm in a very fragile state, Roper.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you in the pit?
Yeah.
He's in the pit. He's in the deep dark pit.
Oh man.
Gonna have to hug it out.
Ryan.
Patapon 2 was there. It was also awesome.
Yeah.
But we
course
already
it
knew
is.
that.
Yeah, we've already seen, and there's a demo out, so you can get that. So, is the demo out
there a
to the little disc?
Yeah, that I have.
but
I think that was industry. They're
that's
eventually
not
going
why
to have some
right
of it
now.
out for everybody. But
Okay. Well, there you go. Ryan, you played Ragdoll Kung Fu.
I did.
How was that?
That was the first time I played it also, kind of like how that was your first time with Fat Princess.
Yeah.
And I thought Ragdoll Kung Fu actually was pretty neat. It's almost Smash Brothers-like in how it's not really, it's a mix between the fighting game and an action game sort of together, mixed in, a lot of platforming going on, and it's just a lot of fun. It seems like it's actually trying to take itself very seriously, even though it's kind of goofy at the same time. The mechanics, take it themselves very seriously. It's like an actual game that you really need to learn. You can't just jump in and go crazy with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And no doubt.
No doubt.
Boy. So, but I enjoyed it, during my short time. And I actually got to talk to one of the developers, and that was pretty cool as well.
Very good. Anything else notable that anybody wants to talk about before we get on with other stuff from the show?
Lost Frontier.
Jack and Daxter, that's right.
I got to see it.
I have something as
I
well.
thought it looked really good, really smooth, good graphics.
Good.
Looked good. Looks like it's fun. Looks like a full-fledged Jack and Dax. I'm talking in Twitter today.
I see.
You are.
I'm trying to use as few characters as I can. No, but it looks like a lot of fun.
And Ryan, what did you?
Well, I thought
Would you wanna
maybe if it's okay with you guys, I would just tell the readers who I got to see during the conference.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Well,
because
you
it was
have to
such a
tell
big
this whole
deal.
story.
Listeners?
Do you want me to tell the whole story? Okay.
I'll tell it from my perspective to begin with.
Okay.
That I got an invite to the PlayStation after party thingamajig. It's a giant thing, but they only reserve a couple spots for press in general. So we were basically told at one point that we'd only get one invitation for the entire team. Then Jeff got one as well, but still that was it. Roper, did you ever actually get one?
I was apparently on the list, but I didn't get the little thing that comes, the transparent
thing.
bubble.
Yeah, Sony, if you haven't noticed, when they do this every year, they do something crazy. Last year they sent out postcards that were made of wood.
Yeah.
This year it was an envelope you opened up and there was like a cartoon word bubble coming out that had all the party information.
In plastic.
It was
printed
actually
on,
clear
plexiglass.
plastic. Yeah, it was really nice.
So anyways, I initially got the email about it and I was like, oh, some party. I was like, did everybody get this? And everybody was like, no, not really. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's some Sony PlayStation party. They're not showing any games. Some girl singing, Janelle Montague, and Ryan just pops up, his eyes all like,
Oh my God.
Janelle Monáe.
I freaked out.
And he's like, I have to go to this party.
No, this has to be me. I have to go.
And I'm like, well, I already
Because-
RSVP'd, but
In
I can
that
try to
voice,
get you
exactly.
in.
Yeah.
But anyways, why? Why is because? Why
Well,
did it have to
because
be?
I just
He's in love with her.
Oh, yes, I am in love with this lady. But only a few months prior to GDC, I had been introduced to this musician. She's a singer-songwriter. She's actually, I don't know, it's very difficult to describe what her style is, but Ryan Geddes, who is quite snappy with his music. I don't know. I was going to say savvy.
He's also wiry.
Wiry? He is wiry.
He's
too.
wiry.
He kind of likens her to a female outcast, like mixes like hip hop, electronics, electronic music, and just
So
a lot of
she's
different
Andre,
stuff. Kind of like
or-
funky
she's
Motown
Andre.
type
She's
stuff in
Andre.
there. Yes. Yes.
Andrea.
Andrea. She is Andrea 3000.
That's good. I like
but she's brilliant. She is amazing. Amazing singer, amazing dancer. Just seems like a really cool person. So I was introduced to her, and when I heard that she was performing there, I basically
You
lost
lost
all
your
control.
mind.
Lost my mind.
the
I
problem
started
was that
He
flipping
peed his
desks.
pants.
I had already RSVP'd, so I had taken my invitation already. So then by the time Ryan started flipping out, we were like, well, I emailed back. I'm like, do I have a +1? They're like, no, there's no room for +1s.
And then I registered, and Ryan
Yeah.
completely
yeah,
freaked
I'm
out
like,
and
can
peed
we
his pants
can we
again.
get an invitation for Ryan? This is his favorite thing. They're like, no, you can't. I'm like, well, can I just give up my invitation and send Ryan? They're like, we don't know. We're not running it, so we have no idea what'll happen. I'm like, all right, great. So eventually we talked to Sony, and they figured out a secondary plan where if it didn't work, or if I was going to go, Ryan could go as this other press person who said he wasn't going to come anymore. So
This was told to us officially by Sony
yeah.
PR.
Yeah, yeah.
They were like, you could just
you can
disguise
say you're
yourself
this guy
as
from
this
MTV.
dude.
You're like, okay. So the day of the party, I decided I couldn't go because I had stuff to write up. So Ryan and Geddes went, and I'll let them pick.
That was actually kind of an epic night because it started out, well, obviously we were doing work all day. By the end of the day, it
You
was
wanted to
myself.
party.
I was ready to party.
Yeah.
I was ready to go to this thing. Not even party, just to see this concert. And so it was myself, Geddes, and I kind of decided we would go. But then later on, we were also joined by Damon, Levi, and Mary Jane as well. Who Mary Jane, we kind of just saw wandering the streets of San Francisco.
That's how she always is.
Yes, exactly.
Would you like a beverage?
So we all kind of like met up and we're walking to this party, and I was basically like, listen guys, there's two things here. One, this is going to be the most amazing thing that has ever happened ever. Two, none of us will probably be able to get in because I don't even have a ticket. I'm trying to use Greg's.
You have my barcode printout that said I was Greg Miller, and then my business card. That was all you had to prove that you were Greg Miller.
That was all the proof I had. So Geddes tried. He got completely
He used the
blasted
fake
away.
name, right?
He tried to use the fake name. Did not work at all. Because basically this party had 4 checkpoints practically of like armed guards and sentry turrets set up around the club. It was completely ridiculous. You had to go through. They scanned the barcode. They double checked it with their computer database. They waved you on. You got 2 wristbands. Insane. Unfortunately, when I went in and I saw a Sony PR person who I will not name at this point in time, she covertly handed me 4 wristbands and said, if you can sneak out and give these to your friends, they can come back. But by that time, they had gone already. Can you believe that?
Weeks off.
If they had only had the patience to stick around for 10 minutes, they could have gotten into the party. It was a very awesome party. I will not describe the whole thing, but Janelle performed, and it was probably one of my life
How
highlights.
close were you
I was literally at the stage. Like there was a girl standing right in front of me, and she had her hands on the stage. Like, and Janelle was right there.
At any point, did you touch her?
No. Oh no. Yes, I did. Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah,
I think you meant like
this is like a
meet her
late
and
night
shake her
interview.
hand.
Lead him on.
Yeah, it was magical. Basically, she. Yeah, I basically transformed into a screaming teenage girl at like a Backstreet Boys concert or something. That's the kind of person I became at this concert. But at one point, Janelle did a stage dive and actually like surfed the entire crowd. And at one point, I got to actually help her get back up on stage. And that's why I've never washed my right hand.
What body part
since
did you
then.
touch?
Disgusting.
I got to hold her hand for a second as I held her along. And also her shoe, but that was less romantic.
You know what this whole story reminds me of? It would make sense to me if this story had to do in the late 60s, early 70s, and somebody was talking about going to see the Beatles.
It's exactly.
And yet we're talking about somebody I can't even remember her name you're describing right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
Janelle Monáe.
okay.
But, no, I
It's
mean,
all context,
obviously,
I guess.
I basically just am so in love with her music and her style. It was just such a treat to like be able to go see her.
What's the
so.
video you want people to look at on YouTube ever? 'Cause
If you-
you
yes.
once said, "Oh, Greg, I saw this coolest music video of all time. Let me show it to you."
You know,
and you came
The
over.
coolest music video of
"Meh."
all time is "Sabotage" by the Beastie Boys. Nothing will ever be better than
That's
that.
a good one. I always like the one of Bon Jovi where he flew. Remember when he flew around the stage with the long hair and he had the mic stand? It was early, it was early '80s. That's why it stands out to me.
All right. Man, which one was that? It was "You Give Love a Bad Name,"
There
I
you
think.
go.
Yeah.
Two things. First, definitely look up her. It's a music video / short film called Many Moons. It's one of her. It's a music video, but they also call it a short film because it's kind of
Because they're trying to be
expanded upon
artsy
that.
and act like they're not making music videos.
Exactly. It's a phenomenal video. I think it's one of my favorite music videos of all time.
Was it directed by Spike Jonze?
No.
Then I don't
What
care.
about Michael Landis?
Anyway.
He did Thriller, right?
I know, yeah.
So there you go.
Yes. The second, I also love Smooth Criminal, but that's a
great video.
Yes, that's a good video. But I love Many Moons. Everybody should go watch it. However, Greg, when I showed it to Greg, he was all like, "This isn't really that great." Now
Somebody comes to you and says, "I have found the greatest music video of all time."
Exactly.
And it doesn't point to Beastie Boys' "Sabotage."
The problem, I think, the problem I found
it's not a
with
Rick
folks
roll.
at IGN is that they want to be
the folks at IGN.
Yeah. I said it.
We all just look alike to you, don't we? Here
Yes,
at
exactly.
IGN?
There's no diversity in this company.
Not at all.
When they sit down to watch a funny video, if it's not instantly ridiculously crazy and entertaining, they suddenly are like, no, this is not worth it. Many Moons has so many subtleties and fine details going on in it that you really have to put on a really good
like
It's
pair
a
of-
music video.
It's her acting like a robot. Don't get your hand close to me.
I'll
boy.
do whatever
let's
the
do
hell
it. Old Irish fight right here.
But no, honestly, yeah, it's just a music video. That doesn't mean it can be any less detailed or artistic as a short film.
I know.
mean, it's phenomenal.
All I'm saying is
and
this is not like the cure for cancer.
I know. I never said it was the cure for cancer.
Well, they do have Foley
but
Home in it.
you really have to put on a good pair of headphones and see all the subtleties and how they line up the video and the audio and the way that, everything is just set up, the environment, the atmosphere of it all. So, yeah, it's not maybe
What's the song's
like
title?
Many Moons.
All right, we're ending it. Go to YouTube, watch Many Moons by Janelle Monáe. Put headphones on.
Put on a good, just really get into the
Turn
zone.
off all the lights.
Yep.
Light some
Wrap
candles.
yourself in satin sheets. and then
light a
email
Get some
beyond
perfume
at
and incense.
IGN.com, beyond at IGN.com, and say if Ryan is right. It's the greatest music video of all time.
Light some incense and grab
or
a
if
glass
it's
of
no
wine or
Beastie
something.
Boys Sabotage.
And not everyone will actually think it's
Set
the
the
greatest
mood.
music video ever.
And
However,
then
if
you
you
can just
don't,
say that, they didn't like it because it wasn't instantly funny, and they didn't.
it's true though. A lot of people have a terrible sense of if they're not instantly gratified by something, they don't appreciate its finer details.
That DuckTales video only gets better the longer you watch it.
Because
and I enjoy
again,
them.
it's absurd. It's outlandish. I mean, that's the reason
Well,
why
she's
it's
a robot
instantly
in this
entertaining.
video.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's
Michael Jackson did the robot thing back with what the hell video was it? Moonwalker.
That's true.
Oh, that was a good
and
one.
Michael Jackson is one of. I mean, she does a forward and backwards moonwalk.
So it's just a giant ripoff of Michael Jackson.
That's not at all what it is.
It
All right,
reminds
let's,
me.
Anyway,
let's
back
move
to
on.
It reminded me of a Volkswagen.
Let's move on.
Back to GDC or like some things that were actually pretty cool, like
Oh, yeah,
the
other games.
3D, like the 3D presentation of Wipeout.
Yeah,
and
did
GT5
everybody here
Prologue,
play the
which was
3D stuff?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, Wipeout HD with 3D is probably
They were
One
showing
of the
that when I was
coolest
there.
things I've
Yeah, see,
ever
I didn't see
seen.
Wipeout either.
They
I
were
saw
showing
Motorstorm and Gran
Motorstorm and
Turismo.
Gran Turismo.
Oh my God, Wipeout HD, like with the 3D glasses, is one of the coolest things in the world. Especially if you get on like one of the larger levels that have a lot of dips and everything, because it really feels like you're going into the TV because of the perspective and the vibrant colors, because of the 128 hertz like cycling of the TV
You said
itself.
128?
Or the 120 hertz.
Yeah, let's be very
1.21
specific.
gigawatts.
1.1
gigawatts. The 120 hertz refresh on the TV like made it feel so vibrant and so realistic.
Here's the thing to me, and this is why I can see Wipeout looking significantly better than either Motorstorm or Gran Turismo, is that the stuff that was kind of on the edge of the screen, that went off the edge of the screen, like say the track, or if you're playing Gran Turismo and you're in the cockpit view, then the cockpit kind of goes off the screen.
Right.
Those things to me looked tied down into the screen because it had that hard edge. But anything that was kind of free floating and fully contained in the middle of the screen, like at one point I was watching somebody and they hit a sign in Motorstorm that came flying at the screen, or if somebody hit a jump in Motorstorm, and so the car was in the air and not on the track.
Right.
Because being on the track, which was going off the screen, made that look tied down. But if that was in the air, that looked like it was popping out of the screen. So with Wipeout, since your vehicles are floating there, I can see that looking like really awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like the biggest thing is that it took like at least a good 15-20 seconds of adjustment, because like typically with Wipeout you have to take a couple seconds of adjustment just to get used to the speed and the
controls
vehicles
and how it
themselves,
feels,
the controls and everything. But this one, it was like you had to take another 15 or 20 seconds just to get used to, okay, holy crap, there goes the track and there goes the vehicle, and all of a sudden I have to get used to the controls all over again and this spatial perspective. And so you're like kind of getting used to it, and it was almost like sensory overload at one point, because like it was so fast and the track was moving so clean. But like once you got used to it and you actually managed to get adjusted to what it was like, it was one of the coolest experiences like ever.
Jeff actually had a seizure during his demonstration. It was really unfortunate.
No, actually, there was somebody that was coming pretty close.
Well, there you go. Greg, what did you think of it?
Yeah, Gran Turismo, I played it, the first one. I wasn't impressed really. I mean, it looked all right, but it was like
it's still kind of flat.
It reminded me exactly. It reminded me of when you'd buy baseball cards or superhero cards, and they have that one like 3D one,
The
or
little
whatever,
hologram thing.
or the ones that just were like blister packed or whatever. They had like raised edges. But then Motorstorm looked great, like mud flying at the screen. And
Yeah,
stuff,
the particle effects and whatnot were great.
I hope it doesn't take off. I don't want PS4 to be 3D.
You don't?
I don't want to have to buy a special TV.
No, if you don't have to buy the stuff,
I don't want to
then
have to wear glasses.
But
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's optional, it'd be cool.
But that's the thing, though, is that like they were saying that technically, like if you have a 120 hertz like TV right now, which a lot of the ones that have been made in the past like year or so, like depending upon the size or depending upon the make, will cycle up to that. Like the only thing that the programmers need, which is essentially already there, is to turn on like basically redrawing the exact same like frame twice, and that's it. And so outside of that and the glasses, which are relatively cheap because it's just like a basic pair of glasses with just like some tinted frames, it's already there. There's nothing really that you need to do if you've already bought a TV within like
I mean, the glasses are so cheap. You could release Warhawk 2 in 3D, and
all
just
they were just
packaged.
the real 3D ones that you get in the theater when you go see any 3D.
Exactly. I mean,
so
like
they were just
the
standard
glasses were
polarized
basic. So if you
glasses.
bought a TV within like the past year or so, you pretty much have what you need.
Well, maybe
possibly. Some won't have
some do, some don't.
Here's my problem. I started getting a headache about 5 minutes into my Motorstorm demo.
Really?
And I don't know. Maybe it was just because I was tired.
You're having
maybe
a
it was
seizure,
because
weren't
I
you?
was having a seizure.
standing straight on.
Yeah.
All right. When I was watching somebody else play, I started to get a headache, but I was off to the side. And then when I went to play it, and I was the one playing and focusing on everything, I was fine.
I had no problem from an angle at all.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, I'm worried that for some people it's just going to bother their eyes and it's not even going to be worth it.
Some
And I'm all going to cry. And
Well, it is kind of like an odd sensory thing, but like, did you take your glasses off when you put the glasses on, or did you like put them on top of your
No, I
normal
put
glasses?
it over my normal glasses at one point.
Yeah,
At one point.
I don't know. Like I was watching it from like angles for like both GT5 and Wipeout, and I had no problem at all. And I was there for probably like a good 15 minutes, just like waiting for my turn to play each one, and I had no problem. But
when I was watching Wipeout from the side, my eyes were having a really hard time trying to figure out the depth. Because the HUD is like right there, and it totally looks like it's popping out. Yeah, it's just chilling like right in front of the screen. Get out of the way. And then everything else. So my eyes were constantly going. Ugh. But yeah, once you're like standing straight on, looking at it dead ahead, then it's cool. It's just like the old school plasma or LCD thing, projection TVs where if you're
Yeah,
at a weird
the
angle,
projection.
you're losing a lot of the pictures. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, anybody have any more comments on GDC in general before we move on with the show?
I played Monster Hunter.
Yeah?
I was disappointed at how much like Monster Hunter 1 it is.
Weak sauce.
Oh.
It's still Monster Hunter, and there's new stuff to it. Don't get me wrong. You have a cat now in battle, which will help you fight monsters.
Can the cat still cook for you?
Oh, they're still cooking cats.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you get one cat who's a badass who'll go out there and fight
Badass
and distract stuff while you set up traps, which is a good move.
And then, of course, there was the announced death knell of consoles and PCs, maybe.
Yes, which we will hit in the Reader Mail in a second.
Reader Mail?
Kento Takahashi's thing, the guy who created Katamari and Nobi Nobi Boy, his thing was awesome.
Yeah?
Because it was
talking about
basically
Chris
just yes, the whole time. That was it. That was actually the topic. No, he
The
had
score
like
is just up on the screen. That's all it shows.
that'd be awesome. Just a picture of you going.
And there was also the supposed announcement of 6,000 characters in Dead Rising 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yet not yet
taken back and
multi-platform sessions, not multiplayer sessions.
Which is a bunch of crap.
Which makes
the
no
game
sense
has
whatsoever.
multiplayer. They're trying to cover their ass. The game has multiplayer and
silly,
supports
silly
6,000
people.
zombies.
Yes.
It's not official, but they said it. It does.
Yeah, multi-platform sessions makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Roper, are we going to play together? if it's
Platform.
multiplayer?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to play that game constantly. As soon as it comes out, I'm doing it. Even if it's terrible, I'm going to keep playing it. There you go.
Takahashi's thing was just basically the entire hour was him just going, just make whatever games you want. And which I'm sure went over well with a lot of developers who were.
Was
like,
he just smoking and texting at the same time? Yeah, do whatever you want.
So he had his Mac all set up and everything, and he had like a video running in the background. He had like a couple windows open to do stuff, and he kind of flip between them. But then he also had like just a clean overlay, and he just draw on the screen while he was talking. It was like watching picture pages of something. It was awesome. So it was just like Mr. Rogers was chilling there, doodling while he's talking. And but yeah, at the very end of it, he was just like, just go ahead and make whatever games you want. He did not want Nobi Nobi Boy to sell well at all. So his whole reasoning behind
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, he pulled up the leaderboards. There's like 57,000 copies in the entire world that have been sold of that game. So, but he pulled up his little chart of what they had done. They're trying to get to the entire solar system and stuff. And he's like, it'll take. He drew it out 820 years. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah.
Real quick before we go.
Huh.
Last week during GDC, Burn Zombie Burn came out on the PSN, and me and Sam love it.
Yep, it's awesome.
As did Worms.
I need to play more of it.
Worms
I just jumped into it. I didn't do the tutorial, so I didn't learn about the
Yeah,
burning and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I need to play a little bit more. But yeah, check it out. All right, let's get into some reader mail.
Reader Mail. Mail call. Chain Mail. Mailman.
Female.
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom.
So our first piece of mail comes from Pseudoprime 1979. He says, recently my friends and I were talking about some irresponsible things we have done to game. Take off work the day a game is released, spent time sleeping on the street for a console release, played games all night when you had the final next morning, etc., etc. So what is the most irresponsible thing each of you has done for your games?
Okay, I got two.
All right.
And if I think of a real winner, I'll tell you. My
Okay.
first job was at a place called Petland. It was a pet shop. We had to wear dumb uniforms and answer the phone in a dumb way. And WWF Attitude came out, and I bought it for the PlayStation. And I had tried to get the day off, out in advance, but it never happened. So I just called in that day and said I couldn't get a ride to work, and I couldn't come in. So too bad. Somebody else got to feed all the animals. But then the kicker was that made it stupid and showed that I was new to, being an idiot. I went back to work later and was talking to one of the coworkers there and told him this. And of course, he probably told somebody because I got in trouble.
Yeah.
And then my other one was, I gave up playing the piano to play Prince of Persia. This is Prince of Persia.
That was the
on
changing
PS2.
course of your life. You could have been a famous musician.
Well, no, I knew getting in it would be a hobby and stuff, and it would collide with video games and stuff. And I remember I bought Prince of Persia and went to my lesson, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go play games. So that was the end of
He's
that.
left.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
And also, I never called to say I wasn't coming back. Just my weekly appointment came and went every week.
That's good. Ryan, you have any good stories?
The only thing I can think of is just that I would, on occasion, forsake studying for playing, but I was actually pretty good about all that stuff. I never let it interfere with my normal life.
Jeff?
Oh God, I've got way too many.
Give us the best one.
I'll give you two. One was like in high school when Doom came out. We pretty much took over the entire computer lab, and so every single time that we had a chance, we'd be playing Doom. And at one point, the teacher started figuring out exactly what we were doing and tried to shut us down. So we'd always have like a race to figure out how to either skip class and go in and play Doom, or get it back on the systems when they delete it. The other one is in college with Command and Conquer and XCOM, and I think one of the classes that I had, there was like a school requirement. Like I just skipped the entire semester and played Command and Conquer and XCOM, and then went in and took the final exam, and the teachers were like, "Where have you been?" And I went, "Oh, dude, personal things and like sickness and death in the family. It was horrible times for me." And still aced the class. Never went to a single like class at all.
Man,
but just aced it.
Sam, do you have any good stories?
Yeah, when I was in I guess grade school, so I think it was probably 5th grade. I used to go into the library, and I would intentionally mess up the computers there because you could hold the Open Apple button as it started up, and you could change all the menu colors and stuff. So I changed all the menu colors. They called me out of class, and I go back there, and I'd be like, "Oh, I have to test it out with something. So do you have anything around?" And yeah, Oregon Trail works. And then I just play Oregon Trail for the rest of the class.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, that was fun.
For me, my thing was I never did anything crazy. I don't remember for a specific game, but when the PS2 launched, I wound up being in line / purchasing it for a total of 13 hours.
Oh,
and in order to do this, I hadn't pre-ordered the thing, and so I was working for a web developer at the time. This was in 2000, and like the day the PS2 is launching, it was coming up at midnight. I'm sitting there at work around lunchtime, and I'm like, I have to go buy a PS2, and I'm like, I got to leave now. And my boss wasn't there, and so a couple of my friends worked there, and I was like, all right, tell our boss that I went to buy a PS2, and if he cares, then I'll find another job. And so I just left, went and stood in line all day for PS2, got it, came in the next day, and he was just like, how is it? And I'm like, oh, it's good. And that was the only thing he ever said.
Nice.
So
nice.
Oh, you know what's sad? So I also stood in line because I had to do it for work.
Me too.
I was working at Gamers.com at the time, so we had this big plan to buy. Everybody would buy a PS2, and then we were going to basically give them away, which was really retarded. So we had 50 people in line.
Yeah.
Well, stupid. But the way I got my PS2 was Cosmo. I literally went on Cosmo.
Oh, the thing that would ship you anything
Cosmo
you wanted, basically.
is the greatest service ever,
It
is a classic example of .com excess because they grew way too fast.
Yeah.
But the whole idea was that they started off in New York and then they moved here quickly to San Francisco. You place an order online, and within an hour they will deliver it to you. And you don't pay the delivery guy, you don't do any of that stuff. It's just a straight, whatever. And they had everything. So my roommate and I, Dave Zoo, who used to work here, we would order random crap, and it was 24 hours a day. So we'd order random crap at 2 a.m. We'd just get ice cream, a Cowboy Bebop video, deodorant, and toilet paper, and they would just show up, and it was awesome.
I was at my friend's place
and I got
one
my
day.
PS2 that way.
I was at my friend's place one day, and I ordered, I think, a Chris Cornell CD, and he ordered a Palm Pilot, and the guy delivered it.
It was the greatest service in the entire world, and I
awesome.
wish it would come back so badly. There's not a day that goes by that I don't miss Cosmo.
Was there if we don't get it to you in an hour, it's free or something?
Not really,
No.
but just because of the way it was
just
set up, they
fight
had
and get
so
it.
many messengers that
Yeah.
usually it was within 20 minutes,
they'd
half
fight
an
and
hour
get
at
it.
most.
It was awesome.
Amazing.
So did you do the PS2 at launch?
Yeah,
that day?
that was the best part. Exactly. So it was the day after, I guess.
Okay.
And I could not believe they actually had them. It was the normal price, everything. So I literally got it for whatever MSRP was plus tax.
Yeah.
That's it.
Man,
Free delivery. Awesome.
I got my launch one the week before launch, but that was at a Hollywood party, and it was.
Well,
yeah. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Launch
do
party.
you remember
Dude,
that one, down in LA?
I turned 21 actually that night. That was where they had the big.
at the Pacific Design Center.
Memories. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
so
and-
it was Paul Oakenfold, Mixmaster Mike, DJ Dan.
It was
and,
huge.
I bumped into Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Trey Parker has
nice.
has the same birthday as I do, so we were both like, "Oh yeah, it's our birthday."
Yeah, it was
Woo,
huge.
we're
It
talking.
took over a whole parking garage, and one of the PR
Carpeted
people
the whole thing in
who
blue
used
carpet.
to be there, just handed me one of the systems that they had underneath one of the stations. Just went, "Here you go," and I'm like. You gotta be kidding me! So we're walking around Hollywood. I'm like, please, nobody bug me! Please don't take my system.
That was good times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was a youngin.
All right, getting on with Reader Mail. Black Mantle says, which event do you prefer to be a part of? So I'm going to take this in two ways, I guess. GDC or E3. So the kind of two ways is coverage-wise.
Yeah.
GDC is way easier for us.
You get to stay
Infinitely
home.
easier.
Everything's right here.
Ridiculously
But
easy.
E3 is clearly way better for games coverage because there's games there, basically. And there's not a whole lot of GDC usually. GDC is really cool, but it's a much more laid-back thing for us to cover. The Great 118 says, do you guys really, here's the OnLive thing, says, do you guys really think game streaming is the future for video games? OnLive sounds very interesting, and I have my doubts, but I think if it works, it would be a nice complement to my other systems, but not a replacement. Do you think it will replace consoles and PC gaming? So as a real quick recap, if anybody hasn't seen this thing, OnLive is basically a service where you stream gameplay, but you don't ever actually download the game, you don't own it, whatever. You log on to the service, you start playing. The game is housed on a server, so you move your controller, it uploads your inputs to the server plays your game, and then streams the video back down to you. I've played it. It works well, at least in the controlled environment we had. But we played like Crysis on full settings on a MacBook Air, which is really cool. And then, like I said during the Roper report, Sony just trademarked PS Cloud. So the idea is probably that they're looking into the same sort of thing. Do we think it'll take over gaming? I think maybe in the future. So here's the thing: is back when the things like Steam launched, people were wary about having just downloadable games. Like they wanted the disc, and then people are getting more and more used to that. Things like Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network and stuff are obviously doing very well. Steam is doing extraordinarily well. There's things like Direct to Drive out there. So that kind of stuff is coming over. People are getting more and more used to it. I think the same thing will happen with this if it works. If it actually works with bandwidth and the cost is another huge thing. Can cost be supported? That it'll take a little bit of time, but I think that if it works structurally, that people will eventually come to be like, okay, I'm fine with paying for this and playing my games that way.
That's true, but there's still like a large number of hurdles that it has to clear. I mean, one thing is like you have to be really, really close to the distribution centers. Otherwise,
you have to be 1,000 miles from it.
Well, like I heard somewhere up to like 500 miles. Otherwise, like you'd start getting
OnLive is saying 1,000 miles, and they're going to have 5 distribution centers when they launch, so they'll cover the entire U.S.
Right. But like you have to be somewhere close to one of these centers. Depending upon whatever it is, like you're still going to find a little lag depending upon what the game is. So like if you're playing Prince of Persia, or like sometimes with Crysis, you'd get like a little bit of a lag, not like something that would be like hampering, but you'd still get it.
I mean, tech things aside, the biggest thing is if you're not online, you're not playing games.
Right.
So. I mean,
but another big issue is just like bandwidth, just simply on somebody else's account, because you have to tie in to be able to do it, and a lot of the users or a lot of the service companies are locking down like the bandwidth per month. So
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's ignore the tech part. If the tech works,
right?
Like, would it work? I mean, the big thing is if you had a 100 billion gigabit connection and you could play a 65 million p video through it fine. Still, if you're not online, it's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Sam, you.
Yeah, I think it is an awesome service. The whole idea that you can essentially have a high-end PC without having to pay for it is pretty cool. And I think it's going to be something where it's tailored towards certain types of games. It'd work awesome for some super high-end MMO or something, for instance, where you're basically stuff is kind of passive. If you're doing like a 60 frames a second game that's all about millisecond reaction times, no, like Virtua Fighter's never going to work on that service, just because of the way they have to set it all up. But it is an awesome alternative to dropping like $3,000 on a super high-end PC just to play something like Crysis, yeah. Although even that, like, that's
the thing though is, my assumption is that a service like this would have to cost at least $20 a month.
Yeah.
I think more than that would be suicide, but I think it's got to cost $20 a month just to pay for all the upgrade fees, whatever. $20 a month for an entire year is $240. Now you're looking at 2 years of service, and there pays for my console.
Yeah.
And if I go that route, pay it all immediately instead of paying per month. Now I've got everything local. I don't have to worry about not having the internet connection. There's no lag whatsoever. I have all my discs and stuff, or I have my downloads sitting on my drive. So
I see it as a complement to PC stuff, not necessarily a competition for console or for console stuff.
Yeah,
consoles have always been about buy it, you have it, it's set up, no fuss, just put the game in and play.
Yep. And the other part is like there's got to be some amount of like maintenance or downtime or something that will inevitably happen with the cloud, even with the distribution centers. Like there's no way that it won't be able to pick up like the whole lag, especially with people constantly banging on it. If it becomes rapidly popular, that like people just constantly be banging on the service left and right. There's going to be some amount of slowdown somewhere.
That's all eventually stuff that'll get ironed out too, which is nice. The march of technology will make it so that bandwidth and all that throughput stuff is taken care of down the line.
Yeah, it's just an issue, especially in other countries where they don't have like the larger bandwidth.
Or in like Scandinavian countries where they have freaking 100 megabit connections to their house.
Yeah.
So horribly unfair. I want that.
And unlimited.
Getting with the mail, Barry Putris says...
Late addition to the Roper Report.
What's happening? Something just came in?
Yeah, my wife is locked out of the house, so I have to go figure out how to get home. So
I'll give you a ride.
Out. Do you have a car?
Yeah, I have a car.
All right, cool. You want to go? I'll buy you lunch and In-N-Out. That's the deal.
Oh, dude, that's an awesome deal.
All right, so you guys leave right now?
I asked Hillary, so I wouldn't have to steal someone from the podcast. But if you want, I mean,
it's totally up to you, man.
Let me check with Hillary. 'Cause I don't
Let's
want to take
discuss this on the podcast, though.
Well, what? That.
Oh yeah, we can edit it out.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, we're not editing nothing. This is a rolling,
no, keep
game.
it.
I'll go check with Hillary and then I'll come back.
All right. Greg, it's going to be your turn. Moving on to the mail, Barry Putris writes in. He says he knows that I love Gran Turismo. Greg loves Infamous physically. Ryan loves RPGs. So when we have to review a game that we love, or kind of game that we love, would we be... he thinks that we might be apt to give it a really high score based on that love. He says, is there any kind of exercise we'd use to allow yourself to look at it objectively and thus apply an objective review score to the game? That is part of the reason, or I guess a large part of the reason, or maybe half of the reason that we're paid to do this.
Yeah, I think in some ways that almost gives you more of a reason to be objective and look at it critically, because like part of it is like you can go into something and be a total fanboy and go like, oh my god, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. But one thing you're not doing anybody like any justice by doing that. So in some ways, like for instance, like I really dug Killzone. But part of it was like I felt more of a reason to be critical about things like...
Note that you gave the game a 9.4.
I know.
So
I know, but like... Or actually, no, a better one would be Metal Gear.
Which you gave a 10.
Which I give I know.
You're not helping your cause here.
And said if there was a game you could give an 11 out of 10.
I would. But considering that I had that entire thing... I went to Chris and said, dude, you have to play this because this is one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah.
And these are the reasons why I would actually give it this. And I went over a lot of the things that I had issues with, but also made sure that other people played it.
In the thing of Killzone, Sam, you and Greg had both played through it when Jeff was reviewing it, both agreed with the score.
Yep.
Well, in Metal Gear, Greg and I both had played through it and both agreed that 10 was what it was worth. But so I mean, those two games aside. But I mean, the thing is, we as our job we are hired because we can objectively look at things that we like. Like we're not going to hire anybody to come here that doesn't like any games. You know, if you hate all games, so thereby you are going to love some sort of games. If I come in and I love Halo, which I don't, but say I came in and I love Halo, and it's like I go to review the next Halo game, if I'm good enough to be hired here, I need to be able to objectively look at it and say, here's the strengths and here's the weaknesses of it and do that kind of thing. So, I mean, that's part. It is a challenge in some fashion. Course. I mean, but at the same time, it's also why the job is great. I can't wait to play Gran Turismo, and but I mean, and I'm going to be reviewing that as objectively and critically, if need be, as possible. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of Command & Conquer, but I still didn't think that Red Alert 3 on PS3 was that great.
Yeah,
because of the commands. That was the biggest problem.
And in the end, a review is still a personal take on stuff.
Yeah.
So there's I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, I love this. Yeah, this and this and this is wrong.
Yeah.
But by the flip side of that is, if a game is really crappy, you still have to be able to recognize that there are some positives in it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Which is my job. To review crap.
It's funny just because you enter into a really weird zone where you know that you're doing a service for like hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people, and you just kind of there have been games where I've really enjoyed, but there's so much wrong with it. I'm like, hey, I had fun playing this, but I have to give this a bad score because I have to uphold my promise to the readers to let them know what they need to know. Yeah. So you kind of get into a zone when you do it.
Yeah. Sean9986 says, Kojima says his next game will be announced at E3. Do we have any idea what it is? Do you think it'll be released on PS3 or will Kojima jump shift and work exclusively for other consoles? My guess is that it's going to be at least PSN, if not also Xbox Live, but I think it's going to be a downloadable game.
Yeah, it's I'm going to go ahead and just throw this out there. Konami's going to be really pissed, but it's MGS kart racers.
Wow.
Yeah. There, I said it. That's it. It's out there. It's in the open.
That's huge.
Very interesting.
That's huge. Breaking news.
Yep. Here's the thing, though. You drive with Metal Gears.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. They hover.
Like, hey.
That's
well,
right.
That makes sense.
And they shoot lasers. Yeah.
To lasers.
That's right.
For a second, I thought you were being serious.
Oh my God! In a dark room with a guy and flashing lights.
Yes, right at the beginning of that, I was like, "Wow, Sam's really gonna get in trouble." Oh no, wait, this is total BS.
Or is it?
Or exactly.
I don't see Sam laughing at all. He's looking at you very seriously.
No, dead serious.
So
in a dark room with a single spotlight,
exactly,
with his fingers templed.
But I believe Metal Gear Kart Racers will be a downloadable game as opposed to a retail release. So we'll see.
Yeah. It will also be a dating sim.
Okay, Metal Gear Kart Racing Dating
and photo
Theater.
elements. Just so you know, it is going to have the most revolutionary photo editor ever on the entire planet, and it will spit photos out of your system.
Soundtrack.
Even though you don't think you have that in there.
Part of me wants to say Zoe. Part of me really wants to say it's Zone of the Enders. That's like a mild guess. I do know that, like, just talking to him and mentioning like Police Nuts and Snatcher,
it needs to be one of those.
He smiles a lot whenever you mention that to him. So I think that every now and then he kind of thinks.
Remember
about
though,
remaking it.
Kojima has multiple games in production.
Yeah, he's got tons of them.
Yeah,
But-
and I think and he was saying that like he's working on like a little game, and that would be the first one out of the box. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah,
PSN
the other part is that
So-
he's really shifting a lot more to producing, not directing a lot of things. So.
Zona of
There you go.
the Ender.
Dopalicious says, have we had any time with Fat Princess DDC? Commentaries maybe always pull Jeff and pee his pants. We already talked about this. The game looks really cool.
No, Ryan did the peeing of the pants last
Yeah.
week. Twice with Janelle
Greg
Monáe
likes the game a
when he
lot. I
touched
think
her.
the game has a whole lot of potential, but it's something that you need to spend a little bit of time with.
Yeah, someone
So-
needs to walk you through that game. Like
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
first sit down on it, especially at GDC when there was nobody around, all you did was just kind of run in circles, die, and then start all over again.
That's what was
Unless you were
happening to me.
told that you have to harvest resources, upgrade stuff, use the lock on. There's a lot of stuff that's not explained in game, and I'm assuming that's going to hopefully be put in there with
I
a
would hope so, yeah.
tutorial or something. Because Jeez-o Pete's.
Yeah. Pyromaniac says, when do you think the next round of handhelds will be released? PS2 and Nintendo's handheld after the DSi. PS2, PSP2, E3.
Yeah.
If
I would assume so.
Mr. Perry would be correct, yeah.
Apparently people were walking around and talking about the PSP2 at GDC and saying things about it. So E3 seems incredibly likely, or TGS. But I would assume one of
either
the
way,
two.
not this
E3
year.
most likely.
Middle to end of next year, I would think.
Well, no, I think it'll get announced this year
E3.
And do you think it'll be at the end of the year?
released. Yeah, and released next year.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or released in Japan at the end of this year.
yeah.
It's been a while. What, 2004 when PSP came out? So
Yeah. Here's a question for Greg about Jack and Daxter, which he left.
I'm Greg Miller. Woo!
You're not going to know this answer though, so we'll kind of if he reappears, we'll ask him this one. And then the last question that I have on here is Justin9427 says, since Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Infamous have the same release date, do you think that it might hurt a possible new franchise like Infamous? Both games look awesome, and he's hyped for both.
Nope, Arkham Asylum will suck.
I think
dude,
it's
you could not be more wrong.
two
That game is
completely different-
awesome sauce.
two completely different concepts.
I just
in
don't
some
like
ways.
Batman.
Yeah. Well, you're crazy.
You are nuts. But yeah, two completely different like franchises, different feels, different characters. Like it's most likely if you like one, you'll probably dig the other. So I seriously doubt it'll
I think
hurt it.
Infamous will do fine.
Yeah, I think Infamous right now, especially from what Greg has been saying, is going to be so good that people, if you're a PS3, it's exclusive to PS3.
Yeah.
So PS3 owners will say, I have to go get this game because everybody's saying it's awesome. So it could wind up sucking, but it seems like it's going to be very, very good.
They need to polish
So-
a little bit more. I'm glad that they're in that phase now because there was some funkiness, but that was an early build. So
Yeah. So there you go. That's all I got for the Ready Mail this week. I'll hold this one to the side in case Greg reappears. Ask him about Jack and Daxter. Anybody have anything else to add before we get on? Nothing?
Nope, I just got a Beast update.
Let's hear it.
Do you want to hear it now?
Let's hear it, yeah.
Ooh, this was actually from last week because we didn't have a podcast.
Yes.
So after defeating the Killzone clans of IGN Orants, or Ignorance, and IGN Podcast Beyond, Beast's clan Hellgas Serious Business made a clean sweep by beating the last standing Killzone 2 clan of IGN, the Vesti clan. Thank God, because I do not want the Vesti clan to win at all. I'm just kidding. You guys are great. The final score was 7-0. The MVP was MP Noobino. Noob in 0. The honorable mentions were Red 7 Ring, I Owned Fools, and Pens 2423. And Beast was like, how did you get my voice? Because I don't know if you remember, I did an impression of Beast. And I guess that's exactly how he sounds.
There he goes.
Goes around being like, oh, what's up? My name's Beast.
All right, for Hit of the Week.
Mac and a large fry. A large fry.
Hit of the Week, I don't remember if we've ever made him Hit of the Week before, but Dopalicious included his PSN tag.
Dopalicious.
Anybody all right, so let's go with Dopalicious then. His PSN ID is Splig.
that's pretty awesome.
SHPLIG.
Splig.
PSN hit confirmed.
So there we go.
What the hell is a splig?
What's a splig? I can't even say it.
So there we go. Let's wrap up the show. Ryan, what kind of music we got this week?
We have a very special song this week. I don't know if you realized, but a little game was announced yesterday that we all thought was a joke, an April Fool's joke from PopCap called Plants vs. Zombies. Now, there could very well be the chance this game is actually real because they put out a press release about it. I think it was technically not April Fool's when they put it out. It was at 12:30 or something, 1 o'clock in the morning today. Don't know what that means, but we're going to sing the music video song. Woo! Jeff is going to help me. Sam, I feel like you could at least help me with the background vocals.
I'll try. I don't know.
Rope, do you want to sing it all?
I need to run
I don't know the song well enough to do it
Neither
whatsoever.
do I. I heard it once.
And you know your parts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Beyond?
1, 2, 3. There's a zombie on your lawn.
Zombie on your lawn.
There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. We don't want zombies on the lawn. The song is so great. I know your type, tall, dark, and dead. You want to bite all the petals off of my head and then eat the brains of the one who planted me here. I'm just a sunflower, but see me power an entire infantry. You like the taste of brains, we don't like zombies. Ooh.
I used to play football.
Football.
Road cones protect my head.
Protect his head.
I have a screen door shield.
Screen door shield.
We are the undead.
There's a zombie on your lawn.
Zombie on your lawn.
There's a zombie on your lawn.
Zombie on your lawn.
There's a zombie on your lawn.
Zombie beyond.
We don't want zombies on your lawn.
All right, we will see you guys next week with episode 86.
It's time to eat
Beyond.
I know you have a lot of food
Zombie-on?
on your plate. Brains are quite rich in cholesterol. This is going to be the greatest game ever.